Hello, my friends. When somebody tells you later, what do you do? Coworkers, family, business partners, business decisions, meetings. Hmm. We'll talk a little bit about the word later. What does later actually mean in leadership, life, business? A little bit of everything, right? So today we're going to talk about the four reasons and the effects that the word later does. I did a previous training on the word later to a couple of managers, and it was very empowering at the end of the day because they never really understood what the word later meant. So when somebody tells you, you know what, I'll do that later for you, or depending on the situation, it can be impacting. And I wrote some things down because it's one four things I want to talk about. But the word later, it has a surprisingly deep effect on your mindset, your behavior, the outcomes, whether it's a day-to-day production, whether it's a meeting, whether it's meeting some goals. The word later really slows things down, and during this presentation or this training, I am going to talk a little bit about some of the procrastination things that we do when we use the word later. So, uh, just jumping into it, the first one is delays actions and builds procrastinating habits. I am anybody who knows me. I am a advocate of using the word procrastination. I don't like the word procrastination. I personally believe that the word procrastination just means that it's not important to you. It holds zero value to you. It's not really worth your attention if you are going to procrastinate. And that can go for anything. That can go for your health, for your business, for your family, for your finance, for every single thing. If you can procrastinate it, that just means it's really not important for you right now. So saying the word later really creates a mental loophole that justifies inaction. Justifies inaction, right? So justifying inaction just means that should I do it? I don't know. I'll do it later. It's probably not going to get done. The impact of that specific, it takes pile up, deadlines get tighter, and stress increases. When stress increases, forget it. We're done. Okay. So try to avoid using the word later on certain things. Okay. Just make sure that do I need to get done? Is it important? Is it something that I need to for a goal, for a work, co-workers, business partner, a training, a session, or something? That word delay in action, that word, it just builds procrastination habits. And once you start procrastinating more and more and more, you're gonna go back and back and back further in your plans, your goals, and whatever you need to do. Okay. It erodes discipline and self-trust big time. Okay. Because if I want to put it off for later, what opportunities did I miss? What could have happened if I did not use that word later, or just in my mind say, you know what, I'm gonna do it later. And then you forget about it. And then a couple hours later, that thing comes back up. Okay. When you constantly push things off with a later, you are telling your subconscious, I don't follow through. And that's a bad thing. That's a reality. That's a self assessment of yourself. Like, man, really, I'm not really following through. What am I doing? All right. It doesn't speak very high of yourself if you're trying to tell people, hey, I need you to follow through on certain things, but you yourself are not doing it. Okay. Being hypocritical is important. Okay. Because and the impact of that is this, it affects how you show up in leadership decision making situations, how you trust others to deliver, especially in a business setting. You cannot how can people trust you if they're not going to know that you're not going to follow through? I know this is kind of it kind of hits a couple of areas. When I was doing my session with these managers, I was hitting a couple of sensitive areas, but at the end of the day I want to go to address them, because the more later you say, the more later things are not going to get done, and we're going to be in more trouble. Okay. Number three, it kills the momentum and the progress. Okay. It stops. When you procrastinate something, basically, you do not want to do it. You do not feel to do it. So let's be honest. Tell yourself, hey, why don't I want to do this? And be honest with yourself. The only way you're going to move forward is to be honest with yourself. You know what? I'm tired. I'm stressed out. Those are all things that can be understandable. But then, okay, you know what? Let me push through. If they're that important, let me knock them out. I'm going to write them down. I always tell everybody, um write down your goals, write out the you need to do so you won't forget them. Okay. Momentum loves immediacy, which is interesting. When you say later, you rob yourself of a chance to build a small win. Simple as that. I wrote them down because I want to make sure that I say good correctly. And the impact of that is projects stagnate, goals are delayed, and derailed completely. These are the things that we're talking about in my discussion with these managers. I'm like, man, it's pretty interesting because we're all sharing this information. And it does kill momentum and it does kill the progress. And when you're stagnated, you don't go anywhere. You think you're going, it's like being in a treadmill. Yeah, you're running, but you're still in place. Okay. Maybe another couple analogy that you want to use, but using that word really, really does kill the momentum and the progress. Rewires your mindset towards avoidance. Interesting. That's my favorite. I believe that it does create an avoidance mindset for you. If you keep on using that word constantly at the word later, I'm not going to do it. Later becomes a mental escape hatch. And I like the way that sounds. When I was writing it, I'm like, you can. I'm going to open up and leave, and that's going to be my escape hatch. So I don't have to really worry about everything else. The more you say it, the more you train your brain to avoid challenges and discomfort rather than comfort and conquer. Okay. So it's very, very important. And the impact of that, it the avoidance really limits your personal growth. It weakens your leadership skills and causes you to miss out on high impact opportunities in life and business. I always tell everybody when you talk about later, you always say to yourself, I'll do it later. Later it might be a missed opportunity, maybe a missed idea, maybe a missed opportunity to be a great conversation, a great discussion. So be very careful how you use the word later and depending on the situation. And, try not to use it as much because it does create a level of a procrastinating habit, especially in leadership. When you procrastinate in leadership, nothing's going to get done. Okay. And that's just the reality of it. I appreciate it. When you have a chance, like and subscribe on this channel, and I'll see you guys another day. Thank you. Bye.